This episode of Sportsmans News Television is brought to you by the Sportsmans News Pro Membership Sweepstakes, where everyone hunts and fishes like the pros. Ford Trucks, Sitka Gear, Browning, Outdoor Edge Knives, Alps Outdoors, and Sportsman's Warehouse.
Mr. Chad LaChance, what are you doing, my friend?
I'm at my Toyota sponsoring dealership getting my truck work done.
Okay. Well, are you good to talk for a minute? I have something very important to tell you.
Uh-oh.
Today is August the 10th.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what the Sportsman's News Pro Membership Sweepstakes does on August the 10th?
I haven't been watching, bud, so I honestly don't know what goes on August the 10th.
Well, we know we do a big giveaway the 10th, the 20th, and the 30th every month, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what the drawing was today?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's a Kodiak Island brown bear hunt worth $30,000.
Really?
Yes. Could you guess whose name we drew?
Don't tell me you drew me.
Yeah. Mr. Chad LaChance, you are the lucky winner going to Larson Bay Lodge on Kodiak Island 2018 to shoot a whopper brown bear.
Are you kidding me?
You kind of have an audience in the office going on right now, and I'm actually I am recording this as we speak because this is like one of the biggest drawings of the year. And
oh my God, are you kidding me? Seriously, are you kidding
I'm not kidding you, man. We don't joke about stuff like that. This is one of the biggest trips of the year. The only one bigger was the sheep hunt.
Buddy, dude, I'm literally shaking. Oh my gosh, dude, are you kidding me? This is awesome.
Yeah, you'll actually get to see the drawing here probably in a few hours. So
Including this conversation.
yeah.
Holy schmoly. Dude, you just made my whole year right there. Oh, dude, this is going to be epic.
Hey guys, Chad LaChance calling in from Kodiak City, Alaska. Yes, I'm on Kodiak Island. Never thought I'd find myself here off on the Great Kodiak Bear Hunt. I'm pretty excited about this whole thing. Fixing to get on a float plane and fly out to the southern half of the island here in Kodiak Island and chase the world's biggest bear. So it's going to be quite an adventure. But real quick, a lot of people have asked me, well, how do you afford a trip like this, or how'd you get it? Well, it came from the Sportsman's News magazine through their pro membership sweepstakes. It's a straight sweepstakes. It's a contest, and I won that. I wanted about a year ago, and I spent the whole year prepping for it, whether it be my rifle, my clothing, conditioning, everything else, getting ready for this hunt. Well, now it's finally here. So we flew on to Kodiak Island last night, flew from Denver to Seattle to Anchorage to Kodiak yesterday, and then now I'm getting on a float plane to fly up to the lake from here and go hunt. So going to be a great trip of a lifetime. I'm really excited about it, guys, and hunting in Alaska for a bear that could weigh pushing 1,500 pounds and stand 10 feet tall. So going to be quite the adventure, guys. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some really good content when we get back. Maybe go check out the sweepstakes yourself, the pro membership sweepstakes. Maybe you'll get lucky and win something as well. And it's been an adventure this far. I don't see it getting any less of an adventure from here on out. So stay tuned.
The flight from Kodiak City to camp is done via float plane. It takes less than an hour to arrive at camp, and we immediately started seeing bears on the shorelines, as well as a giant atop a nearby mountain. Unfortunately, you can't fly and hunt for brown bears on the same day in Alaska for reasons of fair chase hunting. So we spent the afternoon as observers, waiting for the green flag the next morning.
Well, Larsen Bay Lodge is a lodge on the southwest side of Kodiak Island. Real fortunate to have grown up there. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather are from Larsen Bay and the surrounding area. So being raised here, it gave me a great opportunity to be able to share this with people from all over the world. Fortunately, I've built a 28-person lodge, airplanes, boats. We're able to access the whole island. Fortunate to access a lot of private land too, being a shareholder of Kodiak Native Corporation, which my dad was. This is a hunt. Our bear hunts kind of specialize in, as you see, we have a 5-star cordon bleu chef. We have top-of-the-line boats, heaters. Everything's very comfortable. The advantage of this hunt is being able to cover so much more area by boat and hunting the shoreline. Not spreading our scent all over the area, and being able to have a variety of bears to look at. And then we find the right one, and we spot, find it, and then stalk it.
All right, guys, first morning, Kodiak Island, biggest bears in the world. We saw 7 of them yesterday. We weren't allowed to hunt yesterday. We even saw a giant, but we're gonna get after him now. We're headed down the river. To say I'm excited would be an understatement.
TJ, look for Larsen Bay Lodge, Kodiak Bear Guide. We're gonna do our best to put him on a nice big bear.
As far as I'm concerned, he's the man for the day.
To the river. We'll go down the river, and then there's a bear trail right along the river.
Okay.
We're gonna walk right down that and just keep our eyes peeled all the way down. Take our time, go slow. Look for some nice tracks. We'll see tracks.
Might see some blacktails.
I lost a Leatherman here 3 weeks ago, so we can focus.
TJ has been guiding this area most of the fall with fishermen and knows that there's a huge boar living along the river and eating fish, which is our target. The monster Bruin from the day before was only a few miles above the valley floor and just above our current location, and he may have given up his perch on the hill to come fill his belly with salmon. We hadn't been settled into our observation area very long when TJ spotted movement about a mile downriver. It was a resident sow with 3 cubs which TJ had watched most of the summer. We observed them for the better part of an hour heading our direction, but when they crossed the river and started walking right at us, we became very cautious of a mother brown bear's protective nature. At 60 yards, she was getting a little close for comfort, and we made movement to let her know we were there. Day 1 ended without a shot opportunity at a worthy boar, but we had seen a lot of movement on the opposite side of the lake in one area that had numerous bears fishing in the late afternoon. TJ decided that we would be best suited to spend our second day in this area.
Go take a look at those bears. There were 3 different ones. We scared one off. We'll see what the other ones are. I don't think they were the South Cubs. So I think it was a few single bears. We'll just go see if we can get closer and get a judgment on them. Okay. We saw a big bear here yesterday. So we're back across the lake, set up here. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity. We're here for the day, brought lunches. Everything's all good. We're gonna stay here. And there's fish right out here in the water. So we saw a lot of bears out here playing in the water yesterday. And they're out here swimming, catching fish. A bunch of sows and cubs, but a couple of good boars. So day 2 here with Larson Bay Lodge. Mike Carlson's got a great operation. We got TJ as our guide. See if we get it done.
We had been at our observation point for a couple of hours when we saw our first bear, and then our second, and then our third. This was another big sow with nearly full-grown cubs. We enjoyed the show and stayed tucked in behind the tree, but the sow saw something out of place and headed our direction. We yelled at her and waved our arms, and the look of anger on her face was as intimidating as you can imagine. The nerves had just settled from our last close encounter when we saw a shooter. He was well over a mile away and slowly working the shoreline, but definitely headed our direction. He had a huge head and his ears looked like they were coming out of the sides, which is what you're looking for in a trophy brown bear. He had closed the gap to us at about a half a mile when he landed his last fish and disappeared into the brush.
Possible shooter, but because of this fancy body scope we can watch him close. He's about a mile and a half away at this point. He's coming this way, and the day is young.
This is totally a different bear, but very close to the same area. He isn't spending as much time fishing as the other one, and more on a mission. At a mile and a half, they can cover this ground in a pretty short period of time if they don't get distracted.
If I'm going to be eaten by a Kodiak bear, I want to be tasty and full. 700 yards away. Coming here. I'm fixing to have a pretty good encounter with a bear. And I have a face full of sandwich. By the way, I want to point out, toasted ciabatta with turkey. It's delicious. And I'm getting nervous, just for the record. I'm trying to stuff this in my face. He's still 700 yards away. 670.
This big boar is definitely a shooter, and although he is close enough to Chad and TJ for a shot, they don't have the wide open field of view that I have from my location.
Why didn't you shoot?
Popped out. I was like, is that him? He goes, yeah, it's him. Just like that, he stepped from where we were. We had, what, 1 step? Maybe 2?
Chad had stood up and walked 30 yards down the shoreline to stretch his legs and warm up, and he spotted a bear in the water. He wasn't sure how big he was, but he was already in rifle range when he had gotten out of the water. JT scoured the thick grass, and Chad steadied his rifle on sticks, waiting for another close encounter with a possible shooter. It only took this guy a few minutes to finish his fish and was headed back to the water. He could see the top of his back through the grass at less than 50 yards. Chad's breathing got heavy and the adrenaline poured through his veins. He finally popped out at 50 yards. However, he wasn't worth this prestigious tag. The nerves hadn't even calmed when Chad looked through his binos and saw the big bear from day 2 out in the water. Here we were 3 days later, and after many close encounters, we are finally looking at the bear Chad really wanted once again. A mile of shoreline stood between us and his trophy. The wind was in our favor, and we had multiple days of knowledge on the topography of the shoreline, as well as wind issues that moving closer would create. The best plan would be to sit in our current position and hope that he wouldn't get distracted and come all the way within rifle range. Crushed him. Hit him again.
You're unloaded, right?
Oh my God, yes.
You're clear?
I'm clear, I'm
just
all
right
clear.
before you,
Guys, I just tanked an absolute
That is a whopper. Congrats, buddy.
Brown bear Michael Deming.
They saw the whole thing.
Pro membership sweepstakes 375 mag double tap.
They saw the whole thing.
Yeah, nice.
Browning X-Bolt 360 yards across this bay. I have been close to blowing a couple of these in the last couple days.
No, let's get it square. You did blow a couple
I
days.
didn't take any shots I didn't feel really good about, and this is the bear since we first saw him 3 days ago that I really wanted. And
That's as good as it gets right there, buddy.
Oh my gosh,
That is
people.
a beautiful bear.
That bear's a tank, bro.
I've never
Beautiful bear.
never experienced anything like that, guys. I am telling
That's a
you,
really
my
nice
man TJ. I looked up, I was like, hey, is that a bear in the water in front of the rock?
I was like,
And he goes, yeah, that's a bear. And I looked up and Deming's like, he's got no ears.
yeah, his ears were on the side of his head. and
Oh my God.
Congratulations, man.
360 yards.
Good for you. Yeah, I seen him out there. Is it the one that bedded up over there?
No, it's the spot bear.
Oh, it is.
It's the one we watched the other day.
Good for you.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me?
What's that? 6 or 7.
Oh my God.
Biggest sow I've ever seen.
Holy cow.
There's his last fish. Now you gotta
Well, great trip here in Kodiak Island with my good buddy Chad LaChance. You know, you spend a whole week in the cabin with somebody, you learn a lot about him. We had a great time. Guy's a world-class fisherman and now a very accomplished bear hunter thanks to Kodiak and Larson Bay Lodge. Mike Carlson runs a great operation. Mike just flew out of here and I just committed that we're going to give this trip away 3 years from now. He's booked 3 years out. So we got this thing on the hook 3 years from now, 2021. Somebody's going to be coming. Make sure you sign up at promembershipsweepstakes.com. Get your chance to win. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Sportsman's News Television. Tune in next week. We'll have another good show for you.
This episode of Sportsman's News Television is brought to you by the Sportsman's News Pro Membership Sweepstakes, where everyone hunts and fishes like the pros. Ford Trucks, Sitka Gear, Browning, Outdoor Edge Knives, Alps Outdoors, and Sportsman's Warehouse.